First of all, ke konton ke tendo. Actually, men kara kidi bon kono wala nyende ko 23 people ole mel charge, on one count of unlawful assembly under the Public Order Act Section 5. Yo le finde na kidi bon la an masakunda la mol keda mol de melan ko yela sede foro finde de ka fo me ko inspector Alasana Iba wala finde na before the court ka fa introduce ko he PIU officer melan ko is an inspector attached at the PIU office in Banjul in Kanifing, but he's a resident of Banjul. So according to him, he got an information from his commander, Sar, that is Superintendent Sar, that there were people that were legally or illegally gathered at Pura, and he's given order to go and dispatch them. So then they bought their vehicle, and upon arrival at Pura building, they found young boys that were gathered with placards, written, and they were chanting, So when he arrived, then Sar alighted from the vehicle and approached them that they were illegally occupying that place, or they are lawful assemble. And they responded that they were lawful assemble, and that was the push and pull, and he gave them order to arrest them, and they were arrested. So they were taken to Kairaba police station, and he said upon arrival, they hand over to the station officer, and he made a statement. So during cross-examination with Lamin Jedabo wanted him to understand whether he understands what is the role of a public utility authority, that's Pura. He said he didn't have a better understanding of Pura, but what he understands, they are utility regulators. He asked him whether he knows the understanding what is a Public Order Act and what does the Public Order Act said. He said he didn't have an understanding of the Public Order Act, and the prosecution objected that that's a legal question and the witness cannot answer legal questions. And that was overruled by the presiding magistrate, Mr. Tomasi. Then he was asked whether, when they arrived, they asked the boys whether they have obtained a permit. He said no, they didn't ask, but they told them they were lawfully occupying that place. And the question then went further to say that whether he find out whether they have a legal document or what were the purpose of them being at that place. He said he didn't find out. He was an officer who was given an order, and he was just there to execute his order. So that was the question that they have. But due to time, the matter was adjourned. But Counsel Lamin Jedabo, who is representing the accused person, has requested for all the evidence that the prosecution will intend to rely on, to be given to the prosecution as requirement by law, that any document that the prosecution will rely on must be served to the other party so that they prepare themselves. And this order was granted by the presiding magistrate, Mr. Ture, that prosecution should supply them all the documents that they intend to rely on. The matter is adjourned to the 2nd of October for continuation of cross-examination of the witness. Ka fo ere ko kitio me alon ko nal hakilo ba kam fonni kol men findita no itata no Pura la building oto ke la kam fa da yantandi me alon ko wala kada Pura ni price flow ni me alon ko ya ye da bula kono GSM company be nyo sabaka baga sol tada fo credit gol tada fo jita fonni kol findita no kata pour ka Pura petition kabe findita no police ole mo so police ole ole nan kitio la so yela sede follow le findini kiti bungo nyala e ka fo me Alasana Iba me alon ko PIU official maji attached at the Kanifing, a resident of Banjul, wala findita kiti bungo nyati no pour ka la sede jarodi in the side of the prosecution pour ka entandi ko te mellon ko nyendo kabi ya nyen ka pour ya to fa ka te to mo Alasana baleti PIU official maji ala ranko mo inspector leti me alon ko abe Kanifing PIU office le akodung wolungo on the 22nd of October, September August ate kibaro so dala boss buli ka fo me ko bisar me alon ko mu superintendent net ka ndandala ko funding ke o le findita me alon ko be Pura la building oto and be je men they are lawfully assembled pour ita ja janjande ay bondi wodula nyendo akode na defana la men sol kafu nyoka wala la funding ke o me alon ko be do ko la ta ko bayra mo inspector lati e bulata pick up ko ta Pura la building oto funding ke o traje me alon ko kaytol be bula be safari bala safero la bara ko safero nya te malo membe safari ngo bala ako kabe futata je sarji da moto kono wala nya ndandila ko be sirinda men to wolle be lorinda men to je they are illegal loi man sembo di la pour etra woto so ni wato kono nyanta ka bo dula nyintola ako kabe sari o fo signa fula modol bi je wol ya jabi ka ndandala ko loi sembo de we are lawfully assembled ka ndandila ko tel bi janne loi la silola so nyo saba sarna ta order di pour yetel arrest dena da fanana la boy sol jita wala nya moto kono e nyum fonding ke wol mu ye be arrest ye samba kairaba police station oto kabe ay samba kairaba police station ta kera modi melan kala statement odi a police wol la je melan ko len station official to je den nyinin karo ni jabiro nata du nyum fonding ke wol la lawyer tema me alan ko lamin jeda bo wala be timo ni lead kam but lawyer Jamal bije men kamunda jonkon jobade kadi wat ke jallo nyol fokada Mr. Council Martin nyol fokada bondi nyol wol be mo lawyer let but jeda bo le lead waya nyinen ka follow ato moment ya to fa ka ndandala temo alasana i baleti ay ndandala be do ko la mundo la ndandala ko PIU official mati so anara nyinen ka nyina fana ko te mine kala muda wala kaba fuda nyandula da fondin ke ultra je nyaadi la ko kaba de fuda da fondin ke ultra placato le be bulu so jeda bona ra nyinen ka mine be safir wo bala ka de man kayto nyin rit membe safir wo bala bari kayto wo placato be la police station oto jel jeda bona ra nyinen ka nyina ko foto fo kabe fuda da je fana e kada modi me alon ko nyinen ka me ki od la to je akwate manke modi me alon ka nyinen ka wala akay sa yalo nyaadi la ko nyil de a lawful assembly ako ate dala oda yole diala nan furamala bosol pura ina nan ay mol bonde nyun la do kon dunga te nato oda nyine execute akana taka woleke ana raya ndande fana jeda bona ra nyinen ka fayalo ne what is a lawful assembly ni nata na loi buko le ka fome public order akade manke modi me an ka londo soto e ka fome na loi la karola bar prosecution ala mol nata wuli ka ndane la o correction o nyum luan mele loi la wala si o correction o nyinen kano so ko na daga ke wala nyaay na do correction o nyum overrule so ana ra nyinen ka foka ba fuda ja nyin kisi le kalom fo nyum fonden ke le kayto soto le ban pour ka tra wala mina muy la dalilo de je baraka de mo kisi o dale diata le pour ay na nyil janjande donc ka ba fuda je yo o dañu yantandi la ko de ya lawfully assemble nyanda ka janjanje le bar fonden ko man so wala na ate kada mo de mi alan ko ye arrest den kiti o nyina lo na da lo pour sa adjoint bo la min jeda bon na nyinin karo ke kiti bon kono ko kayto kayde be tuntula la ka ke sede jaroti kiti bon nyaati le wala ital fana sula do kayto nyina pour sa di defense la bayre loi wala fako ni be kayto kayti tala pour ka ke sede jaroti ko kayto nyanda kata defense fana bulle saje si fam prepende no ko na do dum sonta wala le ana ako pour sa dila bare na da fo pour IGP ni be printing kala ko kaytol be photocopy ko do nyin si bona IGP la office bar prosecution ko IGP man kodi sodo institution o me alan ko kodi table so e ko murundi pour prosecution fon sa photocopy ni la fa kayto kayti photocopy la je has evidence ko na da kidiote ko the cost will be on the defense wala accused party no lebe photocopy nyol jola ni fonkol so na da kidio nyin sound fo nyin kare kuto men kana dunga kono october karo na telefula soto kidio be continue la même cross examination oti e be nyin cede jarel jibero nyin karo be continue ni la min jeda bo tema.
Let them try to make sure they drop the charges. All what we've seen in the court, we know that definitely nothing has been said which try to show any wrongdoing. But for now, we are just appealing to them to drop the charges. This may lead to something else. That's why the advice is that let them go and review their strategy. It's not about coming to court, bringing people in and out. What we are telling them is that let them try to drop the charges. So far now, we have another adjourned date. They have to furnish us with more details, more documents. Yes, we are in a trial, but let them also start thinking that if anything wrong was to be done in this case, if these people were out there doing something wrong, the public knows. But anyway, our final appeal is that let them drop the charges. That will be for the interest of all of us and the public. Thank you so much. Yes.
As a legal consultant, and then how do you come to you when you realize that the one that came on behalf of the police openly said that he did not have any knowledge about the public as a police officer?
Well, this is the disaster. I mean, at the end of the day, people are not dumb. The Public Order Act is very clear. This act is just a subsidiary legislation. Before you talk about the baby, you talk about the mother, which is the supreme law, which is our constitution. Our constitution is clear. Your right to assemble under section 25D is clear. It says assemble and protest. It's clear there. So this subsidiary legislation, let me explain it very clearly to you. It's a conditional, this Public Order Act is a conditional legislation. The conditions are, it's asking for conditions. Go and read it, bring it anytime we can interpret it. It's asking for, if you are going on a possession, and also if you are going to use a PA system, these are the two conditions. That's why you may need. Listen, let this government take heed. The problem is that this government is not trying to comprehend anything now. Simple as that, we congregate, we assemble. Pura is a public body. The premises for Pura is for public to meet there. Simple as that. We are meeting here in the courts. Tell me that whether here we are unlawfully assembled. Tell me the president meeting at the State House, is that did they have to ask for a permit? Let us not lose our lives into saying that every assembly is a permit. No. I've repeatedly said this. Sometimes we are in the workplace, we are not happy with our salaries, we can assemble outside. We don't need a permit for that. We have school assemblies, football assemblies, congregations. Again, let me repeat for the whole Gambian to understand, this Public Order Act is a subsidiary legislation. The Constitution of the Gambia, take precedence, take all over, it's the supreme law. A subsidiary legislation is like the mother and the baby. Before you talk about the baby, it's the mother. All right? So let's understand it that way. It's a conditional provision. It asks for conditions. They are just legally if they not in short. And they cannot take the people for a ride. The next thing I'm saying is that if people don't sense any fair hearing in this issue, it is the job of the youth and the public to come out and demand justice. That is what I'm trying to say here. Let this be clear. Yes.
And then the rest of us are still. I had to report to the police this morning before I in fact come to the court. So I think if they believe that dialogue should work, they should also believe that the unacceptable, unlawful charges against us need to be dropped, because none of the charges hold water, because we have not done any procession, we have not done any use of PS system, and that's what the Section 5 of the Public Order Act says. So I think today we thought that the state would have done the honorable thing to drop the charges and have this case closed, but they have adjourned it. And whether it's a delay tactic or a mean to say, okay, within this duration, people don't have, because we are under charges, we cannot protest or whatsoever. But what is important is if they're looking forward to dialogue, they don't have to anger the people they want to sit with. You cannot sit with people that you imprison. You cannot sit with people that you continue to put behind bars. Because any of the, we can move from this place and then they call us that our charges, our bail have been revoked, meaning we're going to go back to the cells and behind bars. So I think that this was not my expectation, but we look forward to October 2nd and see what the court says.
Yes, I think our defense gave a very strong defense in asking him about does the police actually know what Pura stands for, and he made a slight grammatical error. Instead of public utilities regulatory authority, he said public utility. So, but that's here or there. And he was also asked, that is the witness, police witness. I mean, they asked, our defense was asking this guy, did you ask them why they were there? Because it's one thing to be given an order to a police officer, and another thing for the police officer in going there, doing their work, asking people, why are you here? There was some push and pull, and then they tried to say, yes, they did, but it wasn't a very clear answer. So, I mean, this is some of the questions that they're asking.
Like looking at the conduct of the police officers, like asking someone to go out or arrest them without knowing the main reason. So what does it signal as a law enforcement officer?
Yeah, I mean, there was even at one point when he was asked about, whether what he meant by unlawful, and also with regards to the Public Order Act. And then the prosecutor, that's our defense, was asking this question to the witness. And then the prosecutor interjected to say that, these are legal matters. Well, it goes to say, does that mean that the witness himself, as a chief inspector, yes, of police, right, does not have an idea of what it means to be lawful or what the Public Order Act? I think they stopped him to rescue him, of course. The prosecutor tried to rescue their own witness from answering that question. And I think that answers for you how the police operate. It was a case of this was the order he received according to his, his witness testimony. And I went ahead and I did that. And then he kept trying to highlight that SAR, who is the commander, was the one engaging, us, the protesters. But hey, it shows you that they don't want to be drawn into that area where they have to start answering what is unlawful according to the Public Order Act or not. Yeah.
Is there anything that you wish to share regarding the conduct of police in this case?
Well, the only message I have to say is to the government. We're very disappointed in this government. Why? Because we feel that they're saying one thing and they're doing another thing. This government says that they want to engage in dialogue with us. Today, they had a chance to actually demonstrate that they are serious about this dialogue. Up until today, I'll put it on record, the government has not sent a letter to any of the organizations. That's us, Gomsa Bopa, and our partners, right? Edward Francis Small Center for Rights and Justice and Gala. They haven't sent an official letter. But we know what this government is like. They will say these things, and then behind the scenes, don't be surprised. They'll be engaging one or two of our members, trying to get our people aside. But our people, we are united. We're united in this message, which is this government, if they are serious, right, and they are not just playing to the gallery, let them revoke whatever charges, bogus charges they have here, and let us see what we can go into. But I can tell you, for me, looking in, doing this as an activist, I don't think that they're serious. And today is a demonstration. This government is not serious about dialogue. Thank you.
I think the word disappointment will be an understatement, because like you clearly stated, it is very, very, very much expected from a high command of the police at the chief level. It is expected that the officer at that level should be very much aware with what the law says, what the Police Act says, and what all these other policies says. So when he said that, you could hear the grumbling within the court. You know, people were laughing and grumbling because it's funny and it's very surprising. So, and then that is one of the things that gave us an alert, that keep giving us an alert that when it comes to these police officers, there is a serious reform that is supposed to be done. Although we failed in our responsibilities as people and also as a government as well too. Because it's expected at this point in time the security sector reforms will have been taken place. That should have been like a question of the past, a topic of the past. But as we speak, the SSRs, the security sector reform, is still yet to be done. Not long ago, we received a report from Malagan that almost 7 point something Gambian dollars has been spent to security sector reform. And then surprisingly, here we are in the court. A police from the high command have no clue of what the Public Order Act says and how lawful and unlawful a gathering could be. He could not even give us a definition. So it's funny, it's disappointing, it's all of it.
Why is that signaling? As a law enforcement officer, being unable to understand the very act that you should be following or prosecuting?
The signal is very clear. It signals that we are in a very complicated situation, and it's very serious as well, because if the police officers who are law enforcers, the people that are supposed to enforce the law of this land, don't have a clue of what the law says, that is serious. That is a serious indication that we are in trouble. What that means, either it be you people, I mean the media people, myself as a simple citizen, I'm a civilians, CSOs members, political party, activists. We are all in trouble as a country, because at the end of the day, when it comes to these brutalizations that happens to us not long ago, it could happen to every one of you, because the ones that are supposed to enforce those laws don't understand the laws, and it's very serious, to be honest. It's serious and it's alarming, and these are some of the things that we need to be very, very serious about, talk about it, and at the same time we advocate about it to make sure the security sector reform, like I said earlier on, is being put to effect, and then we can then have a chance to reform all of these police officers going forward. Because coming from the regime that we came from a dictatorial regime where we all understood, most of the things that took place during that regime, and then it was expected, maybe on the first year or the second year, the security sector reform will have been put into place so that majority of these police officers or men in uniform are reformed. But then here we are, 9 years after, same story. So it's very sad and it's surprising.
The expectations are clear. The motive behind it is already known. That when you are dealing with the Gambia government, you always have to sleep with an eye open, because for peace to reign, we wanted respect, and we accorded it to the state. Thereby, we told them our demands rather. But as you can see, if what happened here is anything to go by, is that the Gambia government is not friendly when it comes to dialogue. Because we've respected them, we sat on them on the decision-making table, had a dialogue with them, but it was all a photo obsession, meant only to score political points. So we fulfilled our own side of the bargain, but they did not fulfill theirs. And true victory is not what is being earned in the courts. True victory is being earned when what you are advocating for becomes possible. We do not have victory because of the price floor, it's not still there. And what we have seen at the end of the day is the Gambian masses are continuing to live with internet prices that are being hiked on a daily basis. And when it comes to this, the government is becoming successful in changing the narratives from the price floor of the internet to freeing the youths and dropping the charges. That is not the main motive, because they are always trying to spin and shift the narratives. Now, what we are advocating for, and just a gentle reminder before we continue, is we had a protest on the 23rd of July. And that protest, when we started it, it was against 5 institutions for gross corruption and misappropriation of public funds. From 23rd July to this date, 11 September, it is 50 days. Now, it means that we have 40 days more to meet the government in the streets again, because we have been entering into dialogue with these people for the past donkey years, from 1965 to date, and nothing has become fruitful in whatever that we have been doing. So, our only power, the only way that we can shift the narratives to favor the masses and the public is through the streets. And that has been made categorically clear to date, because all you people have seen here is that this case is politically driven, because they want to be starting to adjourn this case, making it impossible for us to go back to the streets again, which is not something that we are even going to consider. Because if we are going back to the streets again, and if it happens again that they do not give us the permit, we are going back to that mile 2 prison again. And let us make that to be categorically clear to them that we are not going to succumb to these threats of bail bond, evidence coming in, bringing in witnesses here and there. It is just a matter of distractions, because of this is a politically driven case that they want to prolong until elections or so. And people are thinking 11 steps ahead. We did not mobilize today the youths for them to come here so that we can settle this case in peace, so that they can drop the charges as they initially said. But that did not happen. And at the end of the day, you saw that they have proceeded with the case. And what happens next, all of you people know. Because while all of us, the usual suspects, are out, I have said it again, times without numbers. When corruption and inefficiency becomes the norm of the day, this country will not be able to hold Gala and Adama Barrow as free citizens in this country. Thank you.
Just a follow-up. Do you think that this tragedy, they are doing it so as they will stop you guys from going? Like you said in your prayer, you guys are already on the charge. You are reporting to court. Now they are pushing the case furthermore to meet the day, like the day that you got your 90 days. Is it possible that you guys will go out if your 90 days elapse, even though the court belt is on you guys?
Well, us going out, you see, Gala is the government of the people. Gala is the government of the masses. Gala doesn't take instructions from the Gambia government. Gala is being driven by the purpose of the suffering Gambians, the farmer, the teacher, and so on. Gala is not a group of armchair activists that sit in cozy air-conditioned rooms waiting for workshops so that they can be signing $300 and be going home after receiving breakfast and lunch. This is not a youth movement. Gala is a serious movement that is a nationwide movement founded by collective people from different walks of life in this country. So, what happens next is going to be dictated by the Gambian people. Not by me, not by you, not by anyone else, but by the Gambian people. If the Gambian people say that if 90 days has elapsed today, we are going out again in next week, we go out. Because if we see that we have to maintain the price floor of internet in this country due to Pura, then that's what the people decide, then we go with it. So we are driven by the necessities of the Gambian people and not by any other force or institution. Yes.
Well, I am very, very disappointed, not just in the court case, but that this is the direction where our country is going, where young people who have responsibilities, come from great families, citizens who are just in the frame of the law, who are fighting for the rights of the Gambian people's right to have affordable and quality internet and other services. You know, I'm so disappointed as a Gambian who personally went into exile, you know, who personally was at the border, you know, helping with the humanitarian crisis, to come back to us being in this kind of situation. This is very, you know, disappointing. I hope that there's an overhaul in the system, like, you know, the head of state once promised during the coalition era. So overall, I'm disappointed in that Gambia itself is moving in this direction. I am also disappointed in the selective justice that is happening. As we all seen, couple of almost 1 week ago, there was some unlawful assembly, according to the law, of two different groups who some of them even went to the police headquarters and occupied, you know, which is something I support, by the way. I believe every citizen has the right to come out and peacefully assemble. But the selective justice of the system and this state should not go this way. If one person is charged for one thing, I believe that everyone should be equal in the law. But picking and choosing who you choose to put in a situation, I really believe is unfair. It's unfair and it's a breach of law.
Yeah, we have realized after your arrest, your dreadlocks has been cut off.
Yeah.
Though movements in leadership have initiated several training on prison red for prison officers.
Yeah.
So based on your observation, since you have been to the mile, what can you tell us about the conduct of prison officers?
No, okay, I have to be very fair. Like, you know, during my experience, most of the prison officers were very good people. They even were overwhelmed by the fact that we were there because Mile 2 is already crowded. And with that much pressure, I believe many of them tried their best. Out of 100, I will give them 80, because not everybody is perfect. But I do, you know, have to give credit to the prison officers who really treated us well and made sure that, you know, we had access to everything that we really needed, despite it not being their responsibility to bring us there. They're just there to, you know, detain people after the order has been given. So shout out to the good prison officers and all of the good people in uniforms, because there are many good ones. Some of them are even part of our campaign in solidarity. So I will also take advantage to all of the good officers. Keep on being good, and please, all of these unlawful commands, we know it comes from the top, politically motivated, but please try your best not to fall for it. You know, because the good ones like you is the reason why we fought for change, so that we can have security sector reform, where the officers see us as brothers, where the officers don't see us as enemies, and the officers, they follow due process in all handling of anything regarding the civilians. Yeah. Thank you. So last messages is, young people, the people of the Gambia, we will not be intimidated. We are lawful, we are legal. Let's be united, let's show solidarity, and let's continue fighting for what is right for Gambia, not for us, but for the next generation of Gambians, which is our children, so that they can live in a better environment, because we deserve better.